What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Food Fitness Family. It is me, Big Daddy Blankenship, with Mr. Beautiful Marcus Gates. And you guys just missed Maximus. He came on, he showed us his magic trick, he blew his awful breath in my face, and then he farted. So, it's all in all, good morning.
And it's his birthday. He just turned 6.
And it's his birthday. Now he's holding his butt, so I'm assuming he has to poop. So,
He's just living
yep,
life.
yeah. He said, yeah.
He said, "Yeah, yeah." How'd you know, Dad? That's awesome. Well, I thought about something with this because we sat on here for 20 minutes talking and just bullshit before we actually hit record with it. So we think we might just go ahead and start including you guys in that, and that'll just be our new little intro. Is whatever is on the top of our mind before we dive into our topic for the day.
Just like a small rant before we start
Yeah.
anything.
What did we talk about? We talked about I see the gender today, or we see the sonogram for the gender today, so that's exciting.
Some client stuff, some gender stuff.
Yeah.
Max's
My
birthday.
my tight hip flexors. I did yoga before we hopped on the Zoom this morning.
Yeah. I worked out one time yesterday and I was smoked. Yeah.
Are you sore today? You feel it?
Oh, I'm sore as shit. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
hit back or hit shoulders? That's how you're doing.
I hit push, yeah, but even my back's a little sore
Okay.
because I've been training, but not like hard. But
Yeah.
yesterday I decided to just go back into a full steam, which is not
Yeah.
smart. I
No.
know that,
At
but
least you're not
ooh,
hurt though.
yeah, I don't really care. Now today on legs, I will take it a little easy because I haven't really like had a hard leg day in
Yeah.
months.
Yeah. Have
And
you
then I had
worked
to
out at the new gym yet?
one time,
Yeah. What'd you do?
yeah, back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this will be my first leg day there, so.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's exciting. I was wondering when you're gonna hit legs out there. You got so
Yeah, I
much.
wanted to do it last week, but then I had like three things come up. And like we kind of talked yesterday, it's like I think I'm gonna start trying to work out in the mornings
Yeah.
because the longer the day goes, if something comes up, that's my most expendable thing.
Yeah.
And that's what happened last week. I had an hour and a half, and Brandon was like, we need this, this, and this. And I had to go to the hardware store, then do this and do that. And the next thing you know, my 90 minutes was up.
Yep.
And I had a client. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna go out there today. I need to get our security system put in.
Mhm.
It's just gonna take me like a long time, so I kind of put it off, honestly. And then I feel like I had one more. Oh, a couple of the cables fucked up already, so that pisses me off. So I got to fix that. Um, that's about it, man.
Yeah. Yeah. The damn
Stupid
cables.
cables.
Those
Yeah, it's like it's
I feel so bad when I'm watching you fix them because I'm like, I would want to just burn this whole place down. Have
yeah.
fix
I
one
I know
thing.
how to do it now.
You do.
But the issue is that I don't have the nylon coated cables. I couldn't find forever. I could not find like good fitness cable that wasn't like $400 a roll.
Yeah.
And really, it's the same damn cable, just as a different coating on it. So I would go to Home Depot and get the rubber coated for like half the price because it's not the same shit, but it's the same cable, the same size. It just has a different coating on it.
Yeah.
Well, with the nylon, you can put the nylon through the crimp and it'll crimp just fine. Well, I found out yesterday with the rubber that the rubber is smoother. So the rubber will
Uh,
bend a little more and move and is more slippery. So it just
uh,
slipped out of the crimp.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I have to go fix that. So I'll just like strip the wire of the coating on the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
But it is annoying because um, it's kind of funny how things go because you can get the gym going and working, and it's like, yeah, buddy, good job, thank you. Did you wipe your butt? Oh, you didn't poop. Oh, okay, thank you. Uh, um, as people start to use everything,
Yeah.
then that's when you start to find like,
Start testing shit out.
oh, this
Yeah.
is broke. Oh, that messed up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Saturday, the day we opened, our adductor pin broke. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, and they don't even make that piece anymore. So I had to have a guy come out and like custom make one like that Monday.
Fucking fantastic. Is it fixed though
Um,
already?
yeah, it's
Oh,
fixed.
nice.
Yeah, it's
Nice. Yeah.
just I just hate it because we just opened, so I don't want it to
Yeah.
look like we're just gonna be broken down. But it's like
Yeah. Which you're not.
as these things are taken together and put back, and it's like our MO is like older machines that is like hard to find. It's
Yeah.
things are just gonna break and you
It's
have to
normal.
fix it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That's very, very true. Well, good luck
So
today though. Hopefully the setup of the security system goes smooth.
yeah. But other than that, man, I had a pretty good week. I have a couple of potential clients in the pipeline. I'm back to posting.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
just working, getting ready. Like we say, we had Max's birthday, got a pretty busy week. And that's really about
That
it. I
is.
mean, we're recording really early. I mean, we just recorded what, like Friday, and we're already recording again on Tuesday,
Yep.
and
Yep.
this
So
will
not,
drop
yeah.
Monday. So
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah. So not much has happened since the last. I know you had a busy weekend and whatnot, but
yeah. Oh yeah, we went to Eric and Alyssa's little girl's 1 year birthday party, and then we went to the Luke Combs concerts,
nice.
and Sunday we had Max's birthday. So yeah, it was a
Yeah.
pretty busy
Pretty
weekend.
busy weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty low key week
So how's
ahead
yours?
then. No, ours was good. We went and ordered our nursery chair and our crib. The chair will be here next week, and then the crib, who knows? Hopefully by the first of the year, by the time we
Where'd
actually
you order it
start
from?
using it. Nebraska Furniture Mart. We went out there
Oh,
and well, she found the crib elsewhere, but they had it at Nebraska Furniture Mart, and it was like knocked down price too because it was like
which
the
one
last
did?
out model. I have no fucking idea. I mean,
Uh,
I like the look of it. It's not like a big bulky one by any means. I don't even know how to explain it. I like it though. It's black. It'll go good with the kind of theme of our room a little bit, boy or girl. But then,
I think I got the biggest crib they have.
yeah. Well,
It's so it's really thick. I don't even know why. Like I literally like Tatiana was like, "Here's our budget," and I was like, "All right." And then I walked in and I was like, "Fuck your budget," and I spent like double.
that's hilarious. Got to have the good shit. But no, see, we did that on like Saturday. What we fucking got a lot of organizing and shit done. Went and visited Nicole's cousin in the hospital. She had a fucking brain tumor. Didn't know
Oh
about it.
Jesus.
She went in, she started having like some stroke symptoms at work. She's like 30 years old and got to emergency room and they transported her over to a different hospital. We went in there. Yeah, she had a fucking pretty good sized brain tumor that they had no idea about. It wasn't really causing a lot of symptoms. I mean, like migraines here and there, but like
Hmm.
not more frequent than a normal, people with migraines would have. But shit, yeah, we saw her on Sunday. She had the surgery at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. I mean, she wasn't talking perfectly just because she was in
Yeah.
pain because they had to like cut through like a muscle like in her jaw essentially to be able to get through.
And her
But
skull.
yeah, and that of course. But yeah, just a crazy fucking thing. I mean, healthy 30-year-old, and then just all of a sudden one day I gotta go have brain surgery. But she was considering the situation, she was doing fucking phenomenal. I thought she was gonna
That's
be laying
crazy,
there and just
man.
completely out of it. I thought she'd be in the
Yeah.
hospital for a few weeks. Fuck Sunday night, they were like, "Hey, you can go on home," and they were like, "No, no, no, like keep us one more fucking night." We said brain surgery less than 24 hours ago, so I think I hopefully she got released yesterday, I would assume, but she's got to
That
be
is
really
nuts.
chilling the next 4 weeks. So things like that, though. Obviously, I feel horrible for her, for the whole family, and all the shit, all the stress they got to go through. But it always puts it into perspective, the gift that we're getting
Yeah.
when we have it. Because I mean, in her situation, this was just the snap of a finger. She's all of a sudden has this brain tumor that she has to go get handled. So
It's crazy how fast they release people.
I fucking know. I mean, like I guess it's not a bad thing. Like they feel like, hey, you're doing wonderful. You're able to go home. But she's also like, she can't bear down because she's got
Yeah.
like metal plate in her head right now. And essentially, if she sneezes or coughs or does anything, just strains a little bit too hard, it can like bust this little like membrane of some sort. And then she's got spinal fluid that'll leak out of her nose. So that's her indication that, hey, you fucked up. Get to the emergency room now. So that sounds awful for the next month. But again, it
Yeah.
just kind of puts things in perspective. But no, and then this week though, the good things on the flip side of all that, we got a wedding, Nicole's best friend on Friday night. So I'm excited for that. I already moved my Saturday client so I can get a little bit fucked up on Friday night and then
That's what's up.
and hopefully get to sleep in and just chill on Saturday and whatnot. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I had some beers at the concert, and normally I would sleep in, but I was up bright and early stringing together a happy birthday banner. So welcome to fatherhood.
I just want to drink when I'm a father, I think.
Dude, it's awful.
Sounds awful.
I have Tatiana's stepdad. He's like, "You gonna get drunk with me?" And I'm like, "No, you you never want to have fun." Tatiana's a fun sucker. No, dude. All
I
right,
either want to work
I
out or
will
I got
do
a
this.
child.
I will do this, but you have to come to my house tomorrow and help with Maximus all day because you can just sleep in, lay around,
Yeah.
have someone make you a sandwich. I have a 6 year old in my room at 6:30 on a Sunday morning that wants to wake me up and wants to play. That's the difference.
Yeah, that doesn't sound worth the drinks.
Yeah, the worst was when he was like, I think the first time we went out, he was like 6 months old. Oh God, it was a long day. And then, like, God forbid, like back in the day, I didn't know how to stop, and I would just go till I got sick.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
so
And then
not only would I be hungover
you'd be
and
fucking
have to deal with Max, but Tatiana would be pissed at me. So I'd be like
yeah.
getting up and I like start cleaning the house or
It's a
something. So I already
triple
know I'm in
whammy.
trouble. Yeah, I
Yeah,
already
it's a
know I'm in
triple whammy.
trouble. Yeah, I just don't talk and I keep my head down.
That fucking sucks.
So well, let's get into our shit
Let's
today.
do it. Let's do it. We're talking about nutrition labels. I was really excited when you brought this one up. I feel like, and you might kind of struggle with the same thing, but you know, as coaches, especially with like my lifestyle clients and people that have never really focused on their health before, we kind of skip over the basics sometimes.
Very
You
basics.
know, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like I expect that everyone knows how to read a nutrition label. You know, this was something I would always teach my third, fourth, and fifth graders at school. Um, but yeah, fuck, nobody knows how to read a
No
nutrition.
one. They just look at the calories.
Yeah,
Um, and calories can come from so many different places. And I
definitely.
forget. One of my clients actually brought this up and they said we should do a podcast on this. And I can't remember
Well, good job, client.
who it was.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, wow, that is a great idea because so many people have zero clue what they're doing.
Yeah,
So I figured I'd just bring it up to you. So, do you have a nutrition label of anything in front of you?
I do. I do.
What's it of?
I fucking have no idea. I just typed a nutrition label on Google, so I just got like 1,000 of them sitting in front of me.
Well, I have almond butter,
Perfect. That's a perfect one to go through.
members mark almond butter. So honestly, the first place to start when you're looking at a nutrition label is going to be the serving size and servings per container. So a
Yeah.
lot of people, they don't realize that, oh, it's 200 calories, but they don't look at the serving size. So they just create their own serving. So especially on things like salad dressings
Yeah.
or
Yep.
cereal, they just see the calories and like, all right, cool. Well, most of the time a sauce or a salad dressing is going to be 2 tablespoons like this is,
Mhm.
which is around 30 grams. So if you ever actually measure that out, it's literally nothing.
Yeah. It's not a lot.
Or even a lot of times like mustard is like 0 to 5 calories per serving, but it's per teaspoon.
Mm.
So there are calories because people don't know that if anything is under 5 calories, they're allowed to list it as 0 calorie if
Yeah.
it's under 5 calories per serving. But by the time you stack it up and you're drowning your food in it, it's
And
going
you're
to
doing
add up
multiple meals
multiple
with
meals.
that.
You
Yeah.
can easily add hundreds of calories to your total week just in sauces.
Yeah.
So like on my nutrition label, it says it's 21 servings per container, 2 tablespoons per serving, and there's 200 calories per serving. Now a lot of people they'll see 200 calories and they'll be fine with that because they only look at calories because they think calories are the only thing to worry about when there are multiple other things. Did I miss anything right there?
No, no, no. You're totally on par. I'm actually just bringing up that exact almond butter just so I have the same numbers I'm looking at. I have it upstairs, but fuck going to get it. Who sells this on eBay?
Really? I bet it's marked up like crazy.
It's $15 for a 24-ounce thing from Members Mark.
Oh God, I think it's a $7,
I know.
$6 at Sam's
What?
Club.
That's fucking wild. Anyway, yeah, I have it right here though.
Now, the second thing that I'll usually look at after because I'll be honest, I do look at the calories first because if I'm looking for a sauce that I want to use, I want to know what my total calorie is because if I'm looking for something under 30 calories, I don't really care where those calories come from. I just care that it's under 30 calories, but that's
Yeah.
me. But the second thing that I'm going to look at after the calories aren't the fat, the carbs, and all that. I'm going to look at the ingredients because the ingredients are really important to me.
Yeah.
And they start in the order of the thing that is in it the most,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're listed by what's in it the least. So this one isn't a extremely good example. It's just literally almonds and salt. But if you are to look at the back of the jar of peanut butter, there could be like 12 ingredients on there.
And there's
And that's
usually a
when
bunch
you
of shitty oils mixed in there with it and things
shitty
like that.
oils. And
Yeah.
even if you were to look at like a natural peanut butter, 9 times out of 10, it probably still has cane sugar in it because cane sugar is natural. When we're looking at like peanut butters, we literally just want like peanuts and salt.
Yeah.
Um,
And this one's
but
perfect. The ingredients
this
in
one's
it.
perfect, yeah, and actually tastes really good.
Yeah, it does.
Um, Another thing is that like if you're looking at other ingredients, like let's use butter for an example. Like my family used country crock growing up, and that's all we ever used. And I thought that was butter. That's not even butter. I just call it oil, like
Yeah.
solidified oil, because when you look at the back of the ingredients, the first ingredient is soybean oil,
Yeah.
which is the most highly used oil in America. And it's actually linked to Alzheimer's, dementia, and a lot of other
Crazy
cognitive effects,
inflammatory. Yep.
crazy inflammatory.
Yep.
So it is crazy that we're allowed to use these in our food. But honestly, I'm going to go conspiracy theories here is that we're poisoned from an early age because big food is almost owned by big pharma. So how do you become reliant on big pharma? You poison us through our food, which makes us reliant on pharma,
And
and
lack of
so on and so
education,
forth, and lack of education.
lack of just going over this. Like this should be mandatory in schools, and I feel like I bet some teachers do go over this. I know I went over this. Um, I'm sure that they'd be pissed if I was going over this, but
Hmm.
but it's not. It's a lot of this shit is really just basic information, so that's why it's so surprising to us that when people don't know it. But I'm like, if you were never given an opportunity to learn this stuff, you have to do the due diligence yourself to think, oh, there's a reason I need to go learn this stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's really how it is, man. And that's one of those things like with the butter. I'm gonna on small tangent here is that to me, you're almost better off getting the calories of an actual grass-fed butter, like a Kerrigan Gold, than to get less calories from a shitty
yep,
inflammatory product like a country crock. Does that
yep,
make sense?
100%.
I mean, it's to the point now where like I won't even let Tatiana eat that shit.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
yeah,
she'd be like, "Can I have that?" I'm like, "No." But I will say, like Sunday, she was having a very emotional day,
uh-huh,
and we went to my parents' house and they made pancakes because we were exhausted. We didn't want to. My dad was already making breakfast, so he just
mhm,
offered to make us some.
yeah,
And she was like, "Can I get the butter?" I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "You guys don't have butter?" They're like, "Oh, it's right there." And I'm like, "No, that's country crock. Like, where's the butter?" And she was like, "Oh, that's fine." And I was like, and she knows that like if
yeah,
she would have been so emotional, I would have told her no. But she was already
yeah,
having such a bad morning
yeah.
because of Max's last birthday. I just let her have it.
I just need some fake butter. God damn it!
Yeah. But that shit's important, man. And it's
It
like
is, yeah.
you don't
Especially if you're eating this
realize,
stuff on a consistent basis. If it's just a
yeah,
one-off thing, I'm not um, super restrictive on it or super diligent with it. But if it's something I'm buying, like I'm going to be using this consistently, then I definitely want to check all these boxes.
yeah. They even put like seed oils and seasonings. Like it's
Oh, really?
crazy. It's crazy where it's at. We should actually do a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
Um, foods I hate. There we go. That's what we'll call it.
Foods I hate. I love that.
But when you go back to the nutrition label, so you're going to have them listed out. Typically, fat is going to be the first one because that's typically what people are most worried about. You'll have like your cholesterol, your sodium, your carbs, dietary fiber, total sugars with added sugars, and then the protein amount. I think it's
Yeah.
funny that honestly, protein is almost the most important one, and it's listed last.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
kind of find that funny.
That's almost purposeful.
And then when you look at the percentage of daily values, it says percent DV. They have it listed for fats, saturated fats, cholesterol, sodium, carbs, sugars, included sugars, or I mean added sugars, but
Yeah.
there's not one next to
The
protein. So
protein.
like
The
the
the the,
thing,
everybody under eats. Everybody should be getting more of.
one of the macronutrients that is the most important for us, they
Yeah.
don't have a percent of daily value,
Yeah.
but they have a percent of daily value for everything else. So I think that's kind of funny.
Oh yeah.
Um,
100%.
so when we look at fats, so like this almond butter has 17 grams of fat per serving. Okay. And then we have a little bit of sodium because it does have some added sodium. It has 6 grams of carbs per serving. And then it has 3 grams of fiber, 2 grams of sugar, but it has 0 grams of added sugar. Now, what's nice between the total sugars and the added sugars is that the added sugars are what they added to sweeten the product versus the total sugars is just the natural sugar content of the almond. Um, so I don't mind if the total sugar is high, but the added sugar is low. Um,
Yep. Agreed.
because I don't care about natural sugars, but if
Yeah.
there is added sugar, I like to look that it's from an actual cane sugar and
Yep.
not a refined sugar.
Yep.
So for instance, the ketchup we buy for the house, we buy the Heinz Simply, because the Heinz Simply is sweetened with cane sugar and not corn syrup.
Mm,
And that's that I know that doesn't sound like a big thing, but corn syrup is highly inflammatory and cane sugar is not.
yeah.
Now, refined processed sugar is, but cane sugar isn't.
Yeah.
That's really the main difference. So sometimes it's not even about what all is in the product, it's the quality of the ingredient within the product.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then you're gonna have your protein listed as 7 grams per serving. Now, coaches do different things. So 9 times out of, or actually no, 10 times out of 10, when I give you your diet, and I don't know how well, you do macros, right? You don't list out an actual diet.
No, I list out the full. I do both. The
You
macros
do
are
both.
on there
Okay,
with the individual foods. Yeah.
I couldn't remember. So I don't know how you do it, but like when I list out everything, the numbers I give you are always going to be lower than your actual numbers.
Mm.
Because if I give you a serving of, like, if I tell you 32 grams of almond butter or peanut butter,
You're not
I
including the protein or the
I don't
carbs.
care about the
Yeah.
protein of the carbs. I'm only
Yeah.
caring about the fat source because
Yeah.
that's the main
The main
macronutrient.
macro. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Is that what you do?
No, I mean, I list everything out just so that people can. I almost want it to look kind of like a food label to an extent.
Yeah.
So, like, if I give you chicken breast, I'm gonna label proteins, carbs, fats, sugars, and fiber. So obviously,
Okay.
there's gonna be no sugar and fiber in that. But then if you go to avocado, it's gonna tell you the entire list of that as well. So like I'm trying to balance out and honestly, show people, hey, this is like the optimal. Like this is what a normal day should look like for
Hmm.
you for sugar versus you've been used to having all this processed sweet shit plus a couple Cokes a day, your normal sugars are probably at 200 grams.
Yeah.
Whereas optimal is going to be, 50 to 80, and majority of that coming from fruit. So
Yeah.
that's
I like
kind of
that.
how to set out.
I don't.
What,
I don't do all that. Maybe because I'm lazy. I don't know. Maybe you're just better than I am.
no, but majority of your clients, they don't
They
need.
understand. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I'm giving more because I'm trying to teach them kind of a food label to an extent through their diet plan a little bit. One thing I did want to point out real quick though, just looking at the carbs here, it's the first time I've ever actually really looked at this. So it says total carbs 6 grams, and then it says that's 2% of your daily value. So that's saying on a normal 2,000 calorie diet that you should be having 300 grams of carbs, and it doesn't even say anything about protein. Not that 300 grams of carbs is bad, but for the average person, especially
The
if
average person who's moving less than, because you guys don't realize that the average person only goes like 3 to 4,000 steps a day, which is not a
yep,
lot.
yep,
And they that I'm telling you right now, if you're sedentary, you don't work out, you can't handle 300 grams of carbs a day.
no, and and
That's
and
going to turn you into a diabetic.
And if you are eating 2,000 calories a day and you're kind of following those guidelines, which I feel like most people that are eating this kind of macro split would have no idea how many calories they're eating, but just based off kind of what their daily values are, that means out of 2,000 calories, 1,200 of your calories are recommended to come from carbs. That means, what is that, like 60% of your daily intake of calories
Hmm.
are coming purely from carbs, which again, for me and you that are training really intensely, for people who run a lot or exercise a lot, that macro split might not be the worst thing in the world, but we still want to obviously a lot more protein. And honestly, that's still a lot more carbs than what I would recommend most people have.
Yeah,
At least in terms of the calorie value when it breaks down the whole day.
no, I agree. And honestly, I feel like this should be flipped for the average person, and
Yep.
you should really 60% of your calories should really come from protein,
Yeah.
and then what?
At least
And then
50%
20
probably.
20% of
Yep.
carbs, and then 20% fat. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? If they're, yeah, maybe 50. I would say 50, 30 fat, 20 carb. Honestly, I would
Yeah.
rather see that because I don't think the normal person needs that much
No,
carbohydrate.
no. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly. At least until we get body composition into a better spot, and then we can, and then you can start dropping a little bit of protein, adding more carbs there, and that's maybe through reverse dieting and things like that is how I would kind of get those carbs back up. Because 300 grams of carbs, I think is awesome for a lot of people to be able to eat if your metabolism is trained right and if you're exercising to the capacity that you should be exercising, which isn't an abundance, it's just enough.
yeah. Well, another thing that we kind of skipped over too on the carbohydrates are if you look under the carbs, so there's total carbohydrates is 6 grams,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's also dietary fiber, which is 3 grams, and then total sugars is 2 grams.
Yep.
So they don't have the total of six on here, but like when you look at the dietary fiber being three, you can essentially, I know it's not perfect here, but like you can essentially back out those 3 grams of fiber because that's going to make you push and poop everything out. So
Yep.
we don't really count fiber as carbohydrate intake. So that's why a lot of times, like I know I consider them to an extent veggies to be free food
Mhm.
because veggies are basically just fiber.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
unless you're doing one of my old clients, Sean Say, which I almost killed him because I told him just add more veggies to his meals if he was hungry. And he took that as I'm starving, I'm going to eat a 5 pound bag of green beans. That is not okay. So sometimes now, after that experience, I will
Yeah.
limit veggies, but for the
Yes.
most part, they're free.
Yeah.
Now, the only time the fiber really annoys me is when I see shit like Atkins bars and they're 30
Yeah.
grams of carbs,
Yeah.
but 25 grams of fiber. So it's 5 grams of net carbs. Yeah, that's true, but like that's still a lot. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yep. Yep.
Um, and then sugars also are counted as carbs. So that's why fruit are high in carbs because fruit is high in natural sugar. So the sugars will also count as
But
carbohydrates.
again, that sugar we don't need to be wary of. It's not going to have the same effect as more of a processed sugar and things of that nature.
Yeah, yeah, because when I'm trying to flush someone's system, like if they're like highly
Load them up with
inflamed,
some, yeah, load them up with fruit.
I'll put them like a Mediterranean style diet, and 40 to 50% of their carbohydrates will come from fruit for
Yep.
sure.
Yep. I've got a lot
Um,
of clients that I've been focusing more on that of like if I'm like, hey, I want you to have a higher carb day, I want you to have 200 grams carbs a day, but I want you to get majority of that from fruit.
yep,
And honestly, whenever you do that, and you have 100 grams of carbs from fruit or more than that, it's almost like you're eating fucking dessert all day is what it feels like. Because I mean, I think everybody loves fruit. Like when you sit down and
yeah.
actually eat a fruit, you're like, why don't you eat more of this? Every time I have like whenever I buy strawberries and things like that, I'm like, why don't I make this part of my daily thing because it tastes so good. But when you're given
Well,
kind of that freedom with it, it's fun.
and typically fruit digests really easy. Now,
Oh
I
yeah,
have ran into some issues where I give someone an orange and it's like it's just the acidicness is really killing them.
yeah,
But I mean, most of the time on a daily basis, I'm probably eating blueberries, mangoes, kiwi,
that's awesome.
uh, pineapple, and
Yeah,
then maybe an orange as well, like or even
yeah,
some apples. Like I
yeah.
try to eat like 4 to 5 different fruits every day.
That's great.
And they're delicious. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
oh, my smoothie is probably my favorite meal today that
yeah,
I make.
yeah. That's nice.
Um, so now when we're looking at a label, well, how do they get to the calories? Okay, so they're gonna take all these numbers have different numbers that we multiply by to get calories. So fat is 9 grams,
9 calories per gram.
there we go. The total fat, each fat calorie, God dang it, each gram of fat is 9 calories per gram.
Yes,
So you would take 9 times 17, and that would give you your calories for the fat. Carbohydrates and protein are the same, so those are 4 calories per gram. So you'll multiply 6 by 4 and then 7 by 4, and then you get those calories numbers, and you add those in, and that gets your total calories per serving. Um,
that's not
so that's
always like I will see discrepancies that it's not always 100% spot on with it.
yeah,
A lot of times they're also rounding. It could be like
yeah.
total carbs could be like 6.7 or some shit like that. And they're not putting it on there, so that could be a factor with it. But either way, you're getting pretty fucking close to it. So don't be so analytical that it's
Yeah.
throwing you off.
If you're being that analytical, you're probably just doing a disservice to yourself because you're
Yeah.
stressing yourself out over things that just don't
I
really
was gonna say
matter.
if you're being analytical about that, I'm sure you probably need to have a Dutch test and get your cortisol checked out because you're probably fucked
Yes.
up in that way as well.
Some people can be over analytical about the wrong things.
Oh, so much so.
I had a client one time, and now I clearly, I train enhanced and natural athletes.
Yeah.
This is an enhanced athlete, and we were on taking Clen, and he texted me, and he's like, I, I had 2 tablespoons extra of almond butter last night. Should I do like an extra hour of cardio today? No, no, man. I mean, next time let's just like have a little more willpower and
Yeah.
put the spoon down.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he was like, are we gonna keep taking Clint? I was like, well, we're like 5 weeks out, so yeah. Oh, okay, I'll need to get some more. Well, how much do you have left? Oh, I'm out. Oh, okay. So we're gonna freak out about the almond butter. We're just gonna run out of something we need to take every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
takes
Priorities in the
like
wrong
when you
place.
order it, it's gonna take a week or two to get here. So good
Yeah.
job, bro.
Yep.
God, it just made me so mad. Um, but yeah, honestly, that's the basics. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not a lot to it. It actually is very simple. But it's one of those things that it's not really taught. I don't
No,
even know if
yeah.
they have health class anymore in school, or if they do, it's
They
like
do, but it's
it's nothing like you're actually learning about food. I feel like it's just don't have sex.
no,
You know,
that's a bulk of it. That's like 50% of the class is spent on sex ed and not teaching you how to have sex. It's just teaching you all this shit about what could happen if you do have sex. But but yeah, no, they spend like 2 weeks on nutrition, and it is basic stuff, and it's stuff that probably people should know anyway, but it needs to go a lot further than that. They're not teaching you really applicable shit other than don't have sex again. Uh,
yeah,
we spent 2.5 hours watching the movie fucking Philadelphia, with Tom Hanks with fucking AIDS, from like the 1980s, whatever the fuck that year was. So I'm
Jesus,
like,
really?
yeah, yeah. And I'm like, fuck, that 2 hours could have been well utilized, spent talking a little bit more about nutrition. Because that was two or three classes worth of watching that movie, which good movie, but we didn't get a whole lot out of it other than, oh fuck, you can have AIDS from having sex with people. But anyway, so
Yeah,
yeah, that shit's very, very frustrating. But the way that I learned this the best as well was and obviously, busy lives, you got work, you got kids, you got family, you might not have a surplus of time. But the way I did this was I'd go through and look at the foods I would normally eat. And I would just spend an extra 5 minutes at the grocery store each time I went, just looking at nutrition labels. If you're gonna go look at the sauces, if you're gonna get some sauce to add to your chicken or rice, whatever it is that you're eating, just have a ball with it. Take 4 or 5 minutes and just look through all the different nutrition labels, and that helps you kind of start identifying your go-tos and the ones you're going to stay clear of. You can look at, oh my god, there are all these vegetable oils and all this shit that doesn't even make sense why it's even in there. It doesn't need to be in there. It's just almost like a filler. It's a cutter or whatever the case is to just add more bulk to products or make it taste a little bit better. And it's just cheaper options and stuff. So looking nutrition labels for that is key. If you're a cereal person, go look at the nutrition labels. Now, some of this is, ignorance is bliss. So sometimes it's nice not knowing the nutrition label of things. But I'm also like, I'm curious about this stuff, and I want to be informed on what I'm putting into my body. Um, and some of it the risk or the downfall of it outweighs, or doesn't even outweigh how tasty this is. If I'm going to have something a one-off situation, like I said, then I'm not highly concerned with the nutrition label, but I am
hmm
curious about the calories in it. And one of the reasons why that is that, if let's say I'm going to go get a cut up, chocolate brownie or something from the grocery store, if it has nutrition label, I just want to look at that. It might not even be applicable to me at that moment that day. But
yeah.
then when there's a potluck at work and I see a chocolate brownie that looks almost the same, I immediately now can kind of go back to that and be like,
You
okay,
can kind of guess what it's gonna be.
that's going to be roughly this much. Is that worth it for my day to day? Most times it's not going to be worth it.
Mm,
But if you're doing it seldomly, you're going to fucking enjoy it, and you're not going to have the downfall after that of feeling bad about it and things like that, because it's so few and far between anyway. So it's really not a big deal. But so it teaches you just the value of the foods that you're eating. It teaches the value of the foods that's going into your body. It teaches you how you can actually put this into your diet. Looking, just off this right here. And again, this almond butter is great. It's got dry roasted almonds and salt. Those are literally the only two ingredients. So fantastic nutrition label for that. But again, looking in terms of the value that it's providing for your day, and also if we're looking at your diet as like a budgeting system, if we have 65 grams of fat that we can eat, are 17 grams of your daily intakes fat worth out of your 65 grams? Because this almond butter is going to have 17 grams. For a lot of people, they would say, fuck yeah, almond butter or peanut butter or whatever the case is worth 16, 17
yeah,
grams of my daily fat. But like, to me, I love avocados. They are so great for digestion, and that's a more of a similar macronutrient split as almond butter is. The only downside is with almond butters that has a little bit less fiber than the avocado is going to.
yeah,
So I kind of look at that as like, okay, those are, which one would I rather have today? Because I'd rather have my salmon or my ground beef or whatever as my meat. I love after working with coconut oil. I love putting that onto a few meals as well. So then it comes down to, do I want to have the coconut oil? Do I want to have the peanut butter at night? Which one is more of a priority to me? And if you start kind
yeah.
of looking at food like that, it really just helps you make better informed decisions.
Yeah, I'm the same way for myself. I love my three main fats are probably like olive oil, coconut oil, and almond butter.
Mhm.
I do try to limit almond butter to once a day for a lot of people because
Yeah,
if there's one thing people are going to binge on, it's going to be
it's
the
that.
peanut butter or almond butter. And
Yeah.
also, too much peanut butter can raise your cholesterol levels pretty high. So, like, I remember the worst my cholesterol ever was. I was real lazy, but it was so good. I was doing cinnamon raisin bread for my carbs,
Hmm.
peanut butter for my fats, and protein shakes. And I would do that like 4 to 5 times a day. 'Cause it was amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds
And my
tasty.
cholesterol was like sky high.
That's funny.
But I want to circle back to something. I know this doesn't have a lot effect on it, but when I said that I really feel like we're being poisoned like from an early stage and moving forward. So I read a report the other day and I can't find the exact diet, but I pulled one up. And so this is for like a type 2 diabetic. So type 2 diabetic is someone who has, I don't want to say self-induced diabetes, but someone who doesn't probably live the best life, someone who, has been going on for a little while. And type 2 is reversible. Um, but I pulled up a sample diet from the Mayo Clinic. And listen, breakfast. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
A whole wheat slice of bread with 2 teaspoons of jelly, a half cup of shredded wheat, a cup of low fat milk, and a piece of fruit with coffee. Okay,
What's
so you're a type 2
zero
diabetic.
protein?
You're not going to have 1 gram. I mean, you're going to have some protein within that, but like
Some incidental protein. Nothing
I mean,
priority.
if I let me just guesstimate here. So a slice of bread, let's say 15, 2 tablespoons of jelly, let's say another 15, 30, another 15 to 20 from the cereal. So let's say 35. Low fat milk, there's a couple more, let's say 40. Piece of fruit. I mean, I'll shoot on the low end, and let's say you have 1 kiwi, which is around 10 grams, but
Yeah.
typically a piece of fruit is going to be around 20 to 30
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
most people are going to go for an apple or something. So you're looking at like 60 to 70 grams of carbohydrates for breakfast with really no fat, besides the low fat milk and no protein. So when we wake up and your blood sugar is typically the highest, we're
Yeah.
going to
We're
crush
gonna
you
go
with
spike it.
carbohydrates,
We're gonna go spike it
which
even more.
which then is going to make you feel like shit because if you ever had your blood levels, so imagine how you feel after Thanksgiving dinner, okay? Because your blood sugar is up, you're exhausted, you just want to nap. So imagine, and high for someone could be like 200. So imagine a type 2 diabetic when they're looking at 3 or 400 nanograms there. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
lot. I mean,
Yeah.
that's enough to take you down. So you're starting your day with something that's going to make you feel like shit,
Yep.
okay? And then for
Good luck
lunch,
with
you're
your
gonna have a
energy the rest of the day.
yeah, for sure. And then
Good
for
luck getting
lunch,
to the gym as well.
you're gonna have a roast beef sandwich on wheat bread, lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, and an apple. That's not awful, but still, it's like 50 grams of carbs.
Just yeah, and just a deli meat sandwich, and also out of all this, I mean, at least you had a little bit of fruit, the whole wheat and the shredded wheat and stuff like that for breakfast. I guess you're getting a touch of fiber with that, not a surplus. You're not getting it from Whole Foods, but you're getting a little bit of fiber. But so far in their day, they're already at like 120 grams of carbs and maybe 10 grams of fiber, and I would say at the very high
Mm,
end of it, and that's depending on what sources you kind of had with it. And
well,
now you're at 15 grams of protein for the day as well.
and dinner is going to be around 50 to 60 carbs too, because you're going to have a salmon. This is my favorite part. 1.5 teaspoons of vegetable oil.
Vegetable oil,
Yeah,
not olive, not
no,
coconut, not
vegetable oil.
macadamia, not fucking butter.
Vegetable oil. No. And this is
Good
from
God.
the Mayo Clinic.
The
Uh,
fucking the cancer headquarters of the world.
a small baked potato. Now you do get 1 teaspoon of margarine, but what is margarine made out of? It's made out of soybean oil. And half cup carrots, half cup green beans
Oh my God.
with a dinner roll
Oh,
and
so
an
you got two
unsweet.
so you got two small servings of veggies for the day too.
Yep. And then you get an unsweetened iced tea. So in that meal, you're getting the healthy fats from the salmon that are then canceled out by the veggie oil and the margarine.
Yeah, the
Oh,
only healthy fats they got for the entire day were from the salmon.
and then for a snack, you can have 2.5 cups of popcorn with another 1.5 teaspoons of highly inflammatory margarine.
Oh my God. I'm
dude,
happy
it's
you brought
like,
this up. Jesus.
and so for people who think,
We need to do
oh
that. We just
my
need to pull
God,
up all these like healthcare websites and see what their nutrition recommendations are.
here's a good one. Good fats are listed as avocados,
Great.
nuts,
Great.
canola oil,
Fantastic. Just great.
olive oil, and peanut oil, which peanut oil is actually inflammatory too. So everyone who thinks that they're eating Chick-fil-A because it's healthier, it's not. It's
Yeah.
actually real chicken, so it feels healthier, but it's still
And it tastes
fast
fucking
food.
good. Yeah.
Ah, man, it's so good.
It's so
Yeah.
good. Yeah. We're not debating the taste of things, but again, what you're eating on a daily basis, not the one-off things, but on a daily basis, it needs to be fucking better monitored.
But it's not.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Next time
That's
you go to the
fucking
store,
gross.
here, since you're gonna be a dad, next time you go to the store,
Yeah.
go to the formula aisle,
Dude, I'm
turn
nervous
around,
for all
turn
that
around
shit.
the formula. There's 6 seed oils in the formula.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I'll probably start fucking diving into that shit more and more. And luckily Nicole's really particular about that stuff as well. I mean,
Tatiana's reading a breastfeeding book,
yeah,
and some of the statistics in there about health and mental issues with kids who were formula fed over
yeah,
breastfed is
yeah,
absurd.
yeah,
Like,
just crazy numbers.
dude, staggering numbers. Like, and we're not talking about like overweight. We're talking about like diabetic. We're talking about gut, like GERD and IBS. We're talking autism,
Yeah,
like big time things. Like these kids who are formula fed have way higher chances of this
yeah,
ADHD, like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So we're
hopefully, I mean, not that I haven't looked into any of this, but I would just assume that there would be better formulas than and worse ones as well, because there are some women that can't breastfeed for whatever the reason is.
yeah, there are
You have to do
some
that.
that
I'm
like
sure it's
I
more
found.
expensive.
Yeah, oh, they're way more
You
expensive.
got to dive deeper. But again, it's like,
They're about double the price, but I found some that have
yeah,
like maybe one seed oil and then they have coconut oil. So they are a lot better.
better,
But that's
yeah,
the issue is that they're not, they're like $50 a container. And if your kid's going through 3 containers a month,
oh
four
yeah,
containers a
yeah,
month, it's
yeah.
like,
You're spending $200 or so on food for your kid.
yeah, you have another car payment.
If,
So,
if you have the financial means to do it, then obviously do that. So I get why people want to do it, and I mean, you got to be able to fucking pay your bills and stuff. So I
mhm.
definitely get that. But if you have choice over this stuff, and especially like just the basic things here at the store that we're looking at, the cost difference isn't really not that much at all. And one other thing, and this is maybe another topic for another time, but like, people budget everything for the most part. I've got this much money for at least people who are smart and financially smart with their stuff. But to me, we should have a budget for our health as well. Like I have a budget that I will spend on my body and on my internal health and things like that each month. Paying you, that's part of that budget. Paying for supplements, that's part of that budget. Food and good quality food as well is kind of part of that budget as well. That I'm like, these are my body's is my first and foremost priority, because if that shit's not in check, then other things down the line will be affected.
My body is my temple.
Is exactly. Now, and I'm not even that particular on some of these things. Like I'll fucking eat the regular peanut butter here and there, but again, majority of the time, what I'm having are things that I've checked and I've made sure are
Yeah.
good to go.
Dude, it's like none of us are perfect. And it's like things, it's like I love rice cakes.
Yeah,
Rice cakes have vegetable oil.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. Fucking love chocolate rice cakes.
yeah, I smash them and they have canola oil. You know what I mean? None of us are perfect. Like,
No,
I still love my Chick-fil-A and stuff like that, but we do try to make more conscious choices
of
and just
course, yeah.
remember,
Be moderated.
so
Well, and you and I are 90% of the food that we eat are not going to be processed foods.
yeah,
They're not going to be, fast foods. They're not going to be even things out at restaurants. 90% of what we're eating are whole foods that we have that are very, very simple ingredients. Chicken is just chicken when we're eating chicken. Rice is just rice when we're eating rice. It's things that we can really
yep,
control the variables of. So then, when we are kind of picking those other things, I'm like, fuck, I'm doing a whole lot better than 99% of the population. So
yeah,
I'm okay with this choice. It's really not a big deal. But yeah,
I get it. Well, all
crazy
right,
shit
bro.
though. Yeah, people start reading your food labels. Caleb, have a good rest of your week, brother.
Yeah, bro. You have a good week too. I'll see you later this week.
Yep.
Bye,
So,
man.
see you guys.